For our entire lives, we have been taught that failure is temporary and that you should just move on. And unfortunately, this mindset is so potent because it forces us to reject our emotions and to see them as nothing more than distractions from our goals. But more often than not, we find ourselves experiencing failure, and we find ourselves not just battling these emotions, but drowning in them. And when we come face to face with these emotions, we often fold under their weight. For me, I feel like the only option is to give up. I can't handle feeling so hopeless or discouraged. And not only that, I have no way of comforting myself because I was taught to just tough it out, as if what I was feeling wasn't real or valid. But what about you? What emotions do you experience when you fail? How do you comfort yourself? Or have you also been convinced that you just push those emotions aside and move on? Because I know we all cope differently. But for me, I can't help but use hope as an excuse to keep going. But I'm here to tell you that what you're feeling is real and valid. You are not alone. There are many others fighting the same battles as you and me, and it's okay to feel hurt and discouraged. But I hope my story will inspire you and show you that you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. So let's go back to when I first started YouTube, when I made it my mission to help others. Back then, I had abundance of hopes and dreams. I would post a video and sit there imagining it would go viral, already planning out how I break the news to my mom that I'm kind of a big deal now. But unfortunately, that dream never became a reality, and my videos would fall far below my expectations. And this wasn't just a once off event, it became a perpetual cycle of failure. I did have some wins in between though. Sometimes my videos would do okay, and for a short time I would be happy. But that was my destructive mindset. I believed that success was good and failure was bad, with no in betweens. Before we continue, I think it's important we talk about the emotions we feel when we fail. Now, I'll be honest, as a guy, talking about emotions doesn't exactly come naturally to me. I might as well be a brick wall when it comes to emotions. But don't worry, I did ask a female about how they feel when they fail and the emotions they experience. Jokes aside, this is too important to skip over. We're all different and we all have our own way of dealing with failure. But I think we share more in common than we realize. We both feel discouraged and disappointed. We both obsess over what went wrong and tear ourselves apart at the thought of our failure. But that's only the surface. What do you experience deep down when you fail? Be honest with yourself, because if you can't do that, you might end up going down the same path as me. After posting last week's video, I had a lot of hope for it to succeed, but instead it underperformed miserably. I genuinely felt like it was an amazing video. It had it all: a great thumbnail, a great title, and the quality was there too. Even the statistics backed me up. It had great click-through rate and retention, but for some reason the video just didn't perform, and that was my breaking point. It felt like every week I would overcome one challenge only to beat with another even bigger one. Every step forward was followed by two steps back. It was my lowest moment. And in that lowest moment, I committed one of my most shameful acts. I denounced God and called him out for abandoning me when I needed him the most. I felt like God was blessing everyone else except me, and that thought made me resent him. And in my anger, I said some outrageous things that I would regret for the rest of my life. But after I gotten over my initial anger and sadness, I grudgingly decided to watch the Batman movie with my parents. And one sentence stopped me in my tracks. When Batman's dad asked, "Why do we fall?" That question left me speechless, because I had never once asked myself that. I'd always seen failure as something to be scared and ashamed of, never as something with a purpose. But before I give you the answer, I want to ask you the same question. Why do you fall? Sit with it for a moment, because even though the answer may seem simple, it lit a fire in me that I wasn't expecting. And after my realization, I decided to go back and watch some of my old videos, hoping it would cheer me up, but it did the opposite. I watched in shame as I realized I'd lost heart and forgotten the whole purpose of why I started. My videos were always meant to be about sharing my own experiences as guides on what not to do. My goal is to help you find a viable solution, but somewhere along the way, that started becoming more about me than you, and I'm truly ashamed of that. I can't go back and change it, but I promise you this, I will never lose heart again, and I'll always put you, the viewer, first. So back to the question, why do we fall? The answer is simple. We fall so that we can stand back up, but I take it one step further. We fall so that we can stand up stronger. Failure will always hurt, even when you know it's good for you. You will always feel sad and discouraged, but it's what you do with those emotions that makes all the difference. So ask yourself, would you be where you are today without failure? Don't bury your emotions. Use them for something greater, because it's often at our lowest moments that we are capable of making the biggest change. Even though I've grown a lot since the start of this journey, I still feel hurt when my videos fail, and that's okay. It's okay to feel those emotions. The difference is what you choose to do with them. I no longer channel them into hatred and anger. Instead, I channel them into understanding myself and finding ways to comfort myself. And that has made all the difference. Because failure will never go away. And that's a good thing. It was never supposed to be an easy road. We need hardships to get stronger. But we also need comfort to make those hardships more bearable. So please, don't lose heart. Don't follow the crowd and shove your emotions aside. Find that balance, because that's the only way we can truly learn to live with our failures and come out stronger on the other side.